It's an interesting topic, working with architects and contractors in Ghana. I'm not sure how many of us are familiar with these terms, and uh, people know that working with architects and contractors is more of a formal thing, but we've been doing it on a normal basis. I'm not sure we are aware of it. There are some interesting things I want to show or point out to you today. Well, let's move on to my next slide. I have this nice picture here, and this picture says a lot. There's a lot of things I want to say about this picture. The first thing I want to say is that design is a teamwork. Or people say that architects are like God, we create. Yes, but design is a teamwork. Why am I saying this? If you don't design with me, I cannot design what you want. That's as simple as that. There are so many things in architecture that is not a golden rule. These are things it's subjective. It depends on the person who wants it. It's like it wants almost everything. People's life philosophies and everything. It wants almost everything. Some people want complex things, some people want simple things. It's fine, it's nice. That's where the beauty of the world is. And so if I say design is a teamwork, I mean help me design what you want. Because as an architect, I can only design things based on what you give me. I cannot do anything. I'm not God. I cannot create something in your mind. And therefore, I want to design your building with you. Because left to me, I may design something that I like. And every architect has his own philosophy. I may like simple stuff, minimalist. So I'll be doing a lot of minimalist design. No, you don't like that. You want something of classical. You want something of international modernism. You want something parametrism. You want different philosophies and concepts of architecture. And so I cannot design what you want if you don't help me design it. And that's why this picture means a lot to me. It's a teamwork right from the beginning to the end. It's complete teamwork. And so I want to go on the second point. This picture says another thing. Everybody that matters should be involved. Your wife, your kids, everybody should be involved in the design process. Very, very important. We cannot do away with them because everybody who is going to use the space has his own needs. And so it's very important. The picture says a lot and speaks a lot. But I want to end here, move on to my next slide, and then we take it from there. This is the main topic, selecting and collaborating with local architects. If you remember, I said you are very important in the design process. The architect is not a magician. And therefore, the whole design and the selection and design process starts from you. So the idea of your house, of your dream house, is with you. It's not with the architects. I don't know if you get me. The idea of your dream house is with you. It's in your mind's eye until you start releasing them in more of a virtual form or by speech. The architects have no idea of what you want. It's very important that you have an idea of your dream house, of the building you want. Otherwise, whatever the architect will do for you, you know, like, if you don't know where you are going, you don't know how to start it. And so it's very important to have an idea of your dream house. If possible, you should have a mood board. What do we call mood board? Mood board are more like inspirations, ideas. And where do we get them? We get them from internet. Sometimes somebody's building. You were just passing by a place, you saw a nice building, you love it. You want something like that. You went to a place, you saw something that you love. Mood board is not specifically to the building, the exterior or the interior of the building. It can be anything. It can be even a museum look. It can be anything that you love. And so it's very important that you gather these pictures for the architects you want to design your building. The second thing is design a brief or develop a design brief. It's very important. Because you are the user of the space, it's very important that you know every single space, every single room you want, every single thing you want in the building. You should know it. If you don't know, the architect can only help you come up with a brief, but the initial brief should always come from you. I want 2-bedroom house. I want 3-bedroom house. I want 3-bedroom house with a walk-in closet. I want a cinema. I want an entertainment room. I want those I want stuff should be coming from you. It shouldn't be the architect forcing these things on you. You are the user of the space. Building or architecture is very dynamic. Everything is based on the user. And therefore, we have 3 C's in architecture we call climate, culture, construction. The culture, every member of this 3C is very important, but the culture aspect comes from you. Culture is the way of life, how you live your life. Maybe you don't want people to enter your living room first before they enter the other spaces. You want them to pass through your bedroom. You should be able to design the way you want it, if it makes sense. If it doesn't, we will advise you. But the development of the brief should always come from you. Again, in developing your brief, you can go into detail. You want this particular roof, you don't want hidden roof. This is what you've heard. You want this particular type of window. You want this. These specifications should be coming from you. You are the originator. As I said, the idea of your dream house should be coming from you. It's in your mind's eye. When you are done with this, you go for an architect. So you realize that when you are done with these things, you are clear as to what you want, the kind of building you want, the building you want. When you go in that way, it's very easy to work with an architect because you know. And when architects realize that you are informed, you know what you want, they love to work with you because we just be moving the way you want it. Sometimes architects want to influence and play with it. Yes, sketch it. But it still boils down to you. It's either you accept it or you reject it. And design is a process. Very, very important. It's a process. When you start with an architect, we can be working on a particular design for months. The reason is, if I bring it and you don't want it, you reject it. It's a process. So we will be refining the design bit by bit, just to achieve a perfect thing for you. And so it's very important to go through the process with the architect. So yes, then we start the design. After selecting an architect, we start the design. So one thing that is very important when selecting an architect is that understand that every architect has his own design philosophy. But we can design everything. But we have our own design philosophy. When we have a particular style of design, we have architects who believe in deconstructivism. We have architects who believe in minimalism. We have some people who love classical modernism, different, a lot of architectural styles. So it's very important to know the kind of architects and the kind of design you want. You understand? So sometimes the mistake we do is that you want an architect to do this particular design. The architect doesn't believe in your philosophy. You realize that as he designs, he'll be shifting towards his philosophy because that's what he believes in. That's what the rules that guides his design skill. And so sometimes it's very important that you know that this architect, this is his design philosophy, and therefore he fits into my dream house. Like whatever I want, he can design it perfectly. I'm not saying that architects cannot do what you want for you. I'm just trying to tell you that it's very important to know the kind of architecture you're going in for. Otherwise, by the time you realize, they'll be spraying a lot of colors on your building. And it's not bad. That's design. It's beautiful. Every architect cannot be the same. But it's very important. That's why I said that it's good you know what you want, including the color of your building, so that you guide as architects the way you want it. You understand? So when you are specific like that in your design brief, it's very easy because architects will always be designing towards their philosophy. And so it's very important that you know what you want. If you know what you want and you know the kind of architect you are going for, you know this architect is classical, I'm giving him a minimalist design to do, and therefore he may be shifting towards his classical, then I know this is what you like to design. So kindly try and get a minimalist design for me. We've been trained to do this. We can do every design, but it's very important you specify the kind of design you want. And so the architects, after selecting the architects, you want to visit the site with you. We don't normally do, maybe sometimes based on work or sometimes based on cost, because site visit comes with a cost. People don't want to pay. So sometimes we ask you, is the site sloping? Is the site flat, relatively flat, undulating? Whatever site we have, we want to know. If it's sloping, then we have to come there to check. And it will inform us in refining your design brief. That's the second point. So if we come to your site and your site slope, we may advise you, oh, this slope is too much. Let's go for a basement. It makes a more economical sense. So it's very important that we come there. So in refining your brief, and then we look at some people's brief is some way. You look at it and some of the parameters we use in refining your brief is one, the cost. You can hear that this person doesn't have money, but is asking for a mansion. And so we want to advise you the kind of spaces you are requesting for, so that at least you can advise yourself. It's very important. If we don't advise you that way, it becomes very difficult to build. You can get a very nice architectural design, but when it's time for you to build, the money doesn't count. So we want to advise you in the kind of spaces you are choosing, you are requesting for. It's very important. Another thing we will also look at, one of the parameters we also look at is your topography. We can also advise you to add space or try and play with the topography. So that's why I say design is a process. And it's between me and you. I have to always communicate whatever thing I'm trying to do with you. So you have to approve it. So it's very important that we refine your brief. Sometimes some people they are requesting for very big space. I remember there was a man who requested for almost a full house as master bedroom. I told him, nah, this one, your bed will look like an ant inside. He said that's what he wants. You understand? So that one, I will still need you to approve it. If you tell me that's what you want, I will do it for you. But when you build it, and you can say, architect, you should have advised me. I'll tell you, I told you. So some of these things are very important. And refine your brief. The third point is to come up with your sketch design. So after we've refined your brief, we will look at the sketch design. The sketch design is basically what you know. It's not like normal pencil sketch. Yes, we can give you some pencil sketch, but the sketch design is still drawings, other card drawings and everything. But it's an idea of how we are coming up, how we are linking your spaces, how your spaces are looking at. So we want you see how we want you to see how your spaces are adding up. So at least you can appreciate it. We will explain it to you. If you think it's perfect, you don't, oh, I don't like an open kitchen. Close it for me, we close it. So it's very important that we come up with a sketch design. That's the initial stages of all the designs. We want to show you how your brief is coming up. Oh, your master bedroom is too small. Open it up for me. We change it. Then we move on to the design drawings. The design drawing is an improvement on the sketch design. So that's when you make those changes. I try to correct it and implement it in the drawings, and then I'll come up with a design drawing. So that one, we still have chance to correct it. You still have to correct me on it. That was the design. The whole it's a process, design process, and so the design process is very important that we go through it. So you look at the design drawings. If you are okay with it, we should do something then. And go to the working drawing. Not really the final drawing, but almost the final drawing. The working drawing can also be called construction drawings. So that one is where we dimension them, we pass our grids through, we give you sections, elevations, plumbing, electrical drawings, all the drawings, details, specifications, schedules, and other things. That's when we give you all these things. So we do this to allow you to build. There's another drawing that's as build drawing. So as you go through, when you start construction, you'll be making changes. So whilst making changes, we can be noting them down. When you are done, we will do a drawing called as-built drawing. Normally, we don't do it in our system, but outside you will do, because they will need your drawings either for the fire service, the police, and the rest. So they need the drawings, and they need to know where your services are passing. So if you didn't build perfectly like the drawings were saying, you have to give them as built drawings so that they know. Because sometimes they have shared services like gas and the rest. So they want to know your building, where's your gas passing. So it's very important that we do. It's only in our system that we don't do. So yes, so that's the architects. So when you are done with the design, you can look at contractors. So in selecting contractors, it's either you are sole sourcing or you do a competitive bidding. Sole sourcing is when you are giving it to a single person, like one person. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. You have to give it to one person, because maybe the kind of service, the kind of construction you are doing, it's like steel construction. Maybe where you are, we have few people, B5. You have to sole source the whole contract to B5 because they are the only person who is capable of doing it. So sometimes if you have just a single person undertaking one particular task, you just have to give the whole project to him. So that's sole sourcing. And competitive is when you have different people, you want to see the best bidder in terms of cost and quality and equipment. You want to know, you have machines, you can do cost. So you want to select people who are capable. So you can look at different people, different contractors, and then you have to bid. Type of contractors or contracts. So there's one contract called design and build. It's not really common in our system, but it's one of the contracts we do. Design and build means that the firm that designs is the same firm that builds. And advantages, it reduces the whole construction time, the whole project time. Let me put it that way. So it reduces the project time. It reduces. So whilst designing, we can be building. It's possible that it reduces the project time. So it's not like you now spend time looking for a contractor. No. You after design, we are going to build. So we don't have to waste time in between. Another advantage is because the designer is the same person constructing, there's an easy flow, or the flow of information is easier because the person who designs is the same person building. And he's using his people he trusts. You understand? So it makes it very easy and you're able to do exactly what the drawings are saying because the person who's building is the same person. There's another contract called lump sum. So the lump sum or fixed price contract is when design and build can be like that, but lump sum or fixed price contract is when you set a price. That okay, I have $100,000. I want to do the project within this amount. So design and build within this amount. Or if you have your drawings already, you can say no, build within this amount. So it's when you set a price. You say no, I've only budgeted for 100,000. So that's the amount I want to use to build everything. Just work within that one. So it's possible. So that's another contract you can also look at. They have the unit price contracts. So that one too is another contract where I think in my slides there's correction, but there's an emphasis on the tax and the materials. So this contract looks at the various tax within the project and the materials needed. So you want to get maybe a consultant or somebody to list the tax and the materials needed, and you push it to the contractor and says, "Oh, Charlie, this is the tax, this is the materials we need. How much can you do? Or what is the amount you charge for your labor?" So we do it. We do it on a normal basis. That's something we do. Let me buy the materials for you. Yeah, you understand? But this time around, everything, the quantities and the kind of tax you want is coming from you. You understand? So it's another contract you can look at. Say, oh, this is the quantity and this is the tax. Charge me for your labor. It's also a contract. Then the last one I want to say today is time and material contract. So that one we do. That's the usual one we do. The by day concept, or the steel vendors tonnage concept. So by day, oh, go and do the work today. After today, I'll pay you this amount. You understand? So you charge per your time. Another one is maybe excavation, the length of your excavation. We calculate and pay you. Or the steel vendor tonnage. When you do 1 ton, this amount we pay you. That one is contracts. We do it. It's more like an informal contract, but it's still contract. So it's something that you can also look at. So with this contract, you look at it, you look at how well you can work within your budget. You look at your budget, you look at the contract that will help. So you can go for the lump sum contract or the fixed price one, or you can look at the design and build. You understand? And all these contracts is fair. You will just look at the quantities. They will present to you the quantities. If you think the quantities are okay, it's fair within your price, you go for it. So you work within the contracts. You understand? So it's very important you if you want to really work with contractors, you understand these terms, you understand the kind of contracts you want. So it's very, very important. So yes, that's it. That's it for my presentation. I want to end with, you are the architects of your life. Don't let others design for you. So the beginning of my presentation, I said that if you don't have an idea of your building, architects will design anything for you, and you will continue to build, and you will not be satisfied. It's very important you design your building in your head before you meet the architect. You are the architect of your building, not the architect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Gideon. That was very insightful, very interesting as well. Okay, we will now be moving on to the chats. If anyone has a question, please leave it in chat. If you would like to speak for yourself, just raise your hand using the reactions, and we will pick you, and you'll be free to speak on your own. So Gideon, let me start with the first question. The first question is from Trisha. She's asking, what are some of the obstacles? What are some of the obstacles you have had to overcome when dealing with people who don't know what they want? So, like you spoke about in the beginning, you have to know architects aren't magicians. You can't just build something out of nothing. You need to have a plan. You need to have a mood board. So, have you dealt with anyone who is rather difficult?
All right, thank you. Yeah, yes, it's very common. it's something that is very common. One of the obstacles you meet is one, the person doesn't appreciate any of the designs you send to the person. And so you'll be working on the project for a very long time because the person doesn't know what he or she wants. So you have to try and do different designs to convince the person this is the best. So you struggle to really make sense to the person because the person doesn't know what. Another thing is sometimes um we don't even finish the project. We don't finish the project because the person has to go back, rethink. The person is not really sure of what the person wants. And you'll be there, the person will tell you, oh, I've changed my mind. I want an apartment now. I've changed my mind. I want a 2 bedroom. I don't want 3 bedroom. So you realize that it makes the whole process very long and boring. And when that
Yes, that's
becomes
very
boring,
understandable. It makes the whole process difficult to finish. Mm. So how do you rectify that problem?
yeah. So what I do normally, I have a document I send to the person to fill, and so when you fill that document, it tells me what you want. So it's more like I'm leading you to what I want you to have. And so I send those documents to you to fill. And if you're able to fill, you give me an idea of what you want.
Oh, okay. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Sorry, I have a problem loading chat. Um, could the that the per could somebody resend the last chat question, please? Or David, could you read out the
Yeah, let
next,
me let me read it.
please and
Let
thank
me
you.
read it. Yeah, so if the architect you have philosophies that are contrary to what you want him to design for you, what do you do? Because you talked about philosophies that every architect has their own philosophies. But yeah, maybe you get to know what his philosophies are and what you want him to design are different. What do you do about that?
All right, thank you. So yes, I said earlier that we are trained to design everything, but we are humans like yourself, and so we have architectural design philosophies or concepts that we like. And so when we are designing, we will try to look at the beauty of the design and we'll be looking at it with our philosophical concepts and spectacles. So because we have one eye that is hinged on a particular philosophy, we look at things from that lens. And so if you are not careful, you'll be designing towards that one. And so if you give us the particular philosophy or concept you want, it makes it easier. We can read it from the pictures, the mood board you send us. We can read that, oh, this is the particular picture. This particular architectural style is what you are choosing. You can see that when I look at the pictures you sent me, I realize that, oh, you are more towards the classical. Most of the pictures. So I look at the various elements of your design, the pictures you are sending me, oh, I can see a lot of ornamentations. I can see oh, the person loves classical. You sent me 4 or 5, all of them has ornamentations. Oh, the person likes classical. You have pictures with more hidden roof, simple, 1 or 2 colors. Oh, the person likes minimalist or international style. So it helps me by giving me pictures or stating that you want this particular architectural style. It helps me understand what you want and I design towards it. You understand? So these philosophies have their rules. They have elements you are supposed to have. So per the pictures you've selected, I have an idea of what you want, the elements you want in your building. So I remember there's a design we did, and she said she wants is it classical modernism, or she was very specific. I want this architectural style. And so if you send it to her, the ornamentations, she wants to see them. You understand? So she's very specific, and the pictures she sent, you can see that, oh, she has done her research, she knows what she wants. It helps you design towards it.
Yeah, okay. That's very, very insightful. Thank you so very much for explaining that to us. Um, okay, we'll have two more questions and that will be it because we're currently almost at our limit. How do you manage changes or modifications if there is to a plan? So how would you go about that?
Okay, so yes. It depends on the time that changes is done. So if we do so if the changes come when we are doing the sketch design, that one is the easiest because it's still at the sketch stage and you can easily change. But when it comes and we are building, that's difficult because those changes come with cost. And so that's where the difficulty is. So we sit down with you and say, oh, this change is coming from you. So it's coming from you, the client. We sit down with you and say, so the change is coming from you. And so you have to take the cost. You understand? So when it comes within the design stage, even at the working drawing stage, at that time, depending on the architect you are dealing with, some architects in their contracts, they'll tell you, oh, if you do the changes in the working drawing stage, they'll charge you this amount. For me, I don't do that. But some architects actually says and specify that one in their contract, that if you make those changes in the working drawing stage, they will charge you. And some people will also go into details. If the changes is major, they will charge you because sometimes some of the changes are so big that it's actually sending you back to the design stage, the sketch design stage. So you have to go back and change almost everything. So it's very important that the time of your change is calculated because some of them come with cost. And so if it comes at the design stage, we make it, it's very easy. But if you come at the construction stage, we sit down with you, we calculate the cost, we tell you, this is it. Do you want it? We go ahead. Sometimes demolition has to come in. So these are some of the things we do.
Thank you. Okay, so the last question. This is from Joshua. Joshua, thank you so very much for participating. This is a two-parter. I'll ask you the first one first. Given the building contract is based on time and materials, essentially, what's the possibility of having the same architect design and build the same thing? So is it more plausible for an architect to do something from start to finish?
Yeah. Yes, it's possible. It's possible. There are two phases of our architectural design. The first thing is to design, the second thing is to supervise. So um um depending on your contracts, depending on the type of contract, like time and material. So the architects we have daily charge when we come to your site. This is the amount we charge. So what we will do is, okay, so if the architect who is designing, you want the same architect to supervise for you, he will charge you either on time or contract. So if you choose time and material, when I come there, I'll charge you 500 or 600 or 1,000 or 2,000. You have to be on it. And then in terms of the artisans, we can also look at the that one can be separate. The architect can bring the artisans on board, but their contract is not from the architectural side. The artisans also have to charge their daily distance. So it's possible. It's possible. It's possible to have the architect design and supervise.
Okay, okay, thank you. The second part of the question is, although I think you've already answered it, is how do you ensure that you get the architectural style at the end of the project? So how do you maintain that vision from start? How does someone maintain that vision from start to beginning?
Yes. So yes. Um, if you choose an architect to design and build for you, you are basically in that direction. You know, it's in Ghana that we take things lightly. If an architect design for you and is able to build like what he designed, you can take the architect on.
Wow, okay,
Yes,
that's
you can
great.
take the architect on because why would you design something that you cannot build? And so we design and build the same thing we design. You see, sometimes what happens is that yes, we have what we call force majeure, some things that are beyond our control, or sometimes as we build, we see something, we say, no, let's make these changes. When we are making the changes, that's why I said design process. When we are making those changes, we have to sit down with you and say, hey, this is the issue. The topography is too much. Let's look at it again. Let's change this. It will help you. It may be expensive, but it's adding additional spaces to your building. Do you agree? Yes. If you don't agree, you go ahead with the design. You are the center of the whole design and construction process. You are paying for it, and so we have to do to. So you can take the architect on if they are not able to build like what they design. If the architect
Oh,
is supervising, that's if the architect is the one supervising.
right, right. Okay, I hope that was very understandable for everyone. Thank you so much for explaining that in such plain words. We've reached the end of our webinar. Thank you so much for the questions,
Uh,
everyone.
So I thought
okay,
there was a last question.
Oh, okay. Do you think we can still take one more question?
Yes, we can take one more question.
Okay. Okay, so the last question would be, what advice would you give to a beginner architect or someone who wants to pursue architecture as of now in this day and age?
um, I'll say it's a wonderful profession,
Really?
but um, it goes with passion. If you don't have passion, don't do it. If you don't have the passion for architecture, don't do it. You will stop in the middle of it. Comes with a lot of pressure. You don't stop learning. You have to learn almost every time. There are a lot of things you will learn to, right from design philosophies and concepts to softwares. You have to learn about thousands of softwares if that's what if you want to get to the top of it. You have to learn softwares almost every year, and you have to be passionate. You because you have to learn both sides and theories. You have to learn them. If you don't have that passion, you cannot forget it. Comes with a lot of risks. You'll be doing cantilevers that people say, hey, but you have to know what you are doing because there are a lot of professionals in the industry and you have to work with them. You have to know how they do their things, like surveyors setting out, surveyors taking levels and the rest. You have to basically know almost everything, everybody's work. An architect is like a doctor, but we operate and deal with buildings. We have to know almost everything about building, from plumbing, MEP, plumbing, mechanical, electrical, to surveyors, to engineers, to almost everything, everything. Artisans, project management. You have to know everything. Otherwise, you will not be able to design within budgets. There's one thing I didn't add. We should be able to design within budgets. Tell us how much your budget is. We should be able to do and choose materials. and elements that will fit into your budget. There was a contract for it. That's the fixed price. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so very much. David, would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you very much, Gideon, for this insightful presentation. Obviously, this every time we do this webinar, there are a lot of information that are given, and we go home with very good stuff. So thank you very much for adding on to the valuable webinars that we've done so far, and you've lifted the bar, and we appreciate that. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much. So somebody typed in the comment section that he has seen Gideon's work and he would recommend him to anybody who wants a very good architectural drawing every day, every time. And I would concur to that. Gideon is a very good architect. So if you need any architectural drawing, just run it through the company. You would reach him. We've been working with him for years and he's always delivered. So Gideon, thank you very much. I still can see questions coming in at the comment section.
I think I can answer that one. Yes, short.
Okay.
So I'll take it from the last one. How do you account for delays on your side?
Yeah, in a few minutes you answer that and we can close.
Yeah, delays on your side. I don't know if it's the architect or this thing. So kindly reply that one. Let me look at the other one. Unexpected costs and overruns, cost overruns. After the initial, yes. So yes, we will look at where it's coming from, who is the cause of it. So sometimes it's from the architectural design, sometimes too it's from the what do we call the clients. There are people who can come to the site and make changes anyhow. And so if you can't make those changes and it comes with cost that has not been budgeted for, you take it and you pay. It's as simple as that. If it's from the architects making changes on site without informing you, the cost should be on the architects. It's as simple as that. Yes, the delay on the side of the architects. Yes, that's when if the architect is the one who give you the time for it. So sometimes people come with projects and then they come with their time. If the architect charges you for an express service and the person doesn't deliver, you can take the person home. And then, but my advice is that sometimes the architects, the more they spend time on it, the more refined your drawings. If they rush, they'll give you anything. You can even carry somebody to draw it for you. But sometimes you have to give reasonable time. So if the architect is not working within the time he has charged you for, that if the contract has time, then you can take the architect on it. There's nothing you cannot do within the contract. The architect has to work within the contract.
Wow. Yeah, once again, thank you so much for this invaluable information you've given us. And for people who stayed with us, thank you very much for your time and for your participation. We do this for you, but we also can't do it without you. So thank you so much for showing up. We will make excerpts of the webinar available on our social media platforms. So if you missed any part, you can go back and refresh your memory on that. And please do well to visit our website, mediagh.com, and then look at what we have there. Look at our Facebook, TikTok, Instagram handles, and then go and see all the information that we have there. Do well to like and leave us a comment there. Thank you very much. We are going to end our meeting this evening, and as we always do, next month, last Saturday of the month, let me confirm the date in August. So it's going to be 31st. Yeah, 31st August is the last Saturday of the month. You're going to have another wonderful webinar. So stay tuned and then look up for the next topic that we have for you. God bless you and do have a great evening.